We told you in the early onset of the political process there were going to be several races that we would look at intensely and continue to have people on to talk about it because they're very important. And the 9th District Congressional seat is one of those. The Hall County Sheriff's race is another. We have been focusing on the morning show in the Dawson County Sheriff's race this week. But let's bring on John Sisk. He is a candidate for Hall County Sheriff, a Republican. He joins us on the program now. John, nice to have you back on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about the campaign. I mean, you've signed the dotted line since the last time we talked. We did kind of the meet and greet on the morning show, and now it's time to get in and talk about some of the issues that are near and dear to your heart, and for you to try to set the tone as to why you would be the best candidate for this position. You began your career back in 1978, Gainesville Police Department. Is that correct?
I began in 78 with the Hall County Sheriff's Department.
Hall County Sheriff's Department, but then you did work with the Gainesville Police Department.
Yes, I joined them in 1992.
Very good. And we talked a little bit about your desire to seek this office in this position. And I'd like for you to kind of revisit that a little bit for those who may not have heard the short interview back on the morning show some time ago.
Okay. Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Hall County, in which my career has been in law enforcement. So I won't get into the Sheriff's Department. I want to work to help make it the best department in the state of Georgia. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think it's just a matter of getting in there and moving it forward.
John, this is Al Gainey. Welcome to the race, if you will, and we appreciate you throwing your hat in the ring. You had mentioned that you want to make it the best sheriff's department in the state of Georgia or even in the country, and that is an admirable thing to want to do. What you had mentioned in some of your information that there will be no cover-ups regardless of rank. All complaints will be investigated. What did you mean by that, and will that help improve things?
Yes, I think it does. Well, number one, I hold myself accountable, and I think all employees should be accountable. So regardless of rank, if the situation comes up, I think each and every complaint needs to be investigated thoroughly, and then let the chips fall where they fall. I mean, if discipline has to be handled, that has to happen sometimes, but as long as you do it in a fair and progressive manner, that's the best you can do.
And budget is always an issue with the Sheriff's Department, between the Sheriff's Department and the Hall County Commission, and this is pervasive throughout the state of Georgia and around the country, as a matter of fact. But how do we reorganize and cut the budget and make it work for the citizens of Hall County and the employees in the Sheriff's Department?
Okay. Well, there is a lot of needs that needs to be taken care of, but I think with the budget that is set now, which is a large one, over $30 million, I think if we go in there and go line by line and cut any waste that's there, there's essential services that has to be provided for. I mean, you're housing and clothing and feeding roughly 1,000 inmates every day. These needs has to be taken care of, but I think there are ways that we can squeeze the budget. And, because the last thing I want to do as sheriff is to make taxes go up. I'm a property owner myself, and I don't want to see my taxes go up either.
John Sisk, our guest on WDUN's Morning Talk, a candidate for sheriff of Hall County. John, we've asked this question to most every candidate now that they've been on this program, and we're going to ask you as well. Is there a morale problem in the Hall County Sheriff's Department?
Yes, there is a huge morale problems in which the sheriff election itself is probably a big part of it. But combined with the furloughs and the lack of retirement that the sheriff's department has, officers are down. So we've got to find a way to boost their spirits, get them back to doing their jobs, and then hopefully in the near future we can come back and improve the retirement, get them back on the retirement program. And I think once the sheriff is elected and we get the steps set in place, I think you'll see the morale problem turn around and go forward.
That is a very candid answer from you, especially the first part of that, and some of that may be because of the sheriff's race itself. And people are human. They're going to probably pick sides, even though they can't pick sides if they're an employee. So let's say you're elected. How do you bring everybody back together, John?
Okay. It's just like anything in management, it's team building. Guys set a good management team, and I think I've got plans that will set a good management team that can work with the employees of the Sheriff's Department that they'll be happy to work with. Also, I want to promote from within, so get a good promotional program going so that they know that they can come from a jailer to the road or CID or wherever they'd like to be at in the sheriff's department, so it will be fair for everybody.
You know, one of the things that can affect your morale in any job is whenever your salary's cut back or when you're put on furlough or furloughs. As a matter of fact, that's happening now, or it's in place now, and benefits and that sort of thing. What can we do there to get people back to work and full time? Because that's affecting not only their paychecks, but it's affecting the safety possibly of Hall County.
Exactly. Well, number one, which they have lost benefits, and I think that hurts when they sit there and think that, but we've got to look at what they do have, which number one, in today's economy, you know, we're fortunate to have a job. But I think doing away with furloughs, getting those gone, they'll start feeling better about themselves. And then, I mean, it'll be a long-term plan, but we need to look at the retirement. But that's not something that can be done in a short term, but I think we can get it back on track.
And now some of that is being able to retain the talent that you've recruited and you developed already, is it not?
No, it absolutely is. And some of the attrition that we've had is due to these furloughs, and we're losing some good people, do you think, John, to other counties? And are we having problems recruiting good people?
Yes, we are. I mean, if you don't offer benefits, you don't have much to bring people into you. And I know before I retired from the police department, we had several officers come there. We've had several to go other places. So, you know, we've got to pull them back in, let them know that we've got a strong department, strong county, and we're going to move forward to be the best department in the area.
If you had to name one thing of your top priority whenever you get into this job, and if you're elected, what would it be?
Okay, my top priority, I've got two top priorities. First is managing the budget because, again, we've got to maintain what is in the budget. Number two, I think morale is one of the biggest issues because if we solve that problem, we will solve all the other problems that's going on at the Sheriff's Department right now.
John Sisk, we want to say thank you for being on with us today. Where do people find out more about your campaign?
Okay, you can find me at johnsiskforsheriff.com. Also, my cell phone number is 770-540-0641, and I welcome anybody to call me that would like to talk to me.
Well, John, we appreciate you offering. Thank you for taking time to be with us here this morning. We look forward to talking to you again as the campaign continues. Best to you, and again, thanks for offering your services.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.